to the Crypt of Wax. Sometimes, Mike, albums take a long time to come out.
Yes, they do. Sometimes you've got to wait a while. If you like a band and you're waiting for them to release their album, you might have to wait 35 years potentially.
35 years for their first and last.
First and last album. I mean, I admire this. Like, what can more bands
Yeah.
do this? Just sort of start, not release anything 35 years and finally do it and split up immediately after doing it.
What an interesting story. So yeah, Eternal Darkness, with the album Eternal Darkness.
Eternally waiting for their debut album.
Yeah, formed in 1990, debut album in 2025.
It's
Quite
funny though because they formed and they were quite busy for their first couple of years. They did like 3 demos and an EP in the first 2 years.
Yeah, apparently they got quite like big and quite like known within that scene.
Yeah.
Successful. I'm not quite sure why the
They let it go to
hiatus
their
or why
heads, did they?
they. Yeah, I wonder why. Is there a reason as to why they split up or kind of took so
I
long?
don't know. I mean, were they okay, right. So yeah, they weren't they were active until 95 and then
Oh, okay. And there was a riddled with tragedy, the murder of founding guitarist
oh
Germo
fucking hell.
Corallo in '95, and then the passing of lead guitarist in 2014. The band remained dormant until 2019, then reformed. Lineup began exhuming their long buried riffs, finally constructing the full length they were always meant to make.
Shit, I really wish I'd read that before we sort of was laughing before
Cussing them
that.
out, yeah. Apologies, but
Yeah.
I mean, it is still a mental story, like a
Yeah.
fascinating story, to be quite honest.
Do you think that maybe the album was kind of just they just wanted to do it like if they wanted the band to do an album and they were just like let's just do it, let's just do an album. We're not going to be a band outside of it, you know?
Forever, but possibly, but it doesn't feel like that. It doesn't just feel that they've made it for the sake of making it. I feel like there's a purpose for this record. So, I mean, for those not in the know, they're a Death Doom, but more emphasis on the Doom, I guess. Well, I guess it's quite split, but it's basically a really slow, heavy, oppressive band, aren't they? To put it bluntly.
They've got this like I mean, yeah, I'd say it's a definite quite even split because the pace of it, it's not like it's like a funeral doom type pace. It's a lot
No.
of it's almost a kind of a mid tempo. There's they kind of do quite a bit of double kick and slightly driving beats in places. But
Yeah.
what it's got this album though is this like world ending heaviness to it. I'd say of like new albums that kind of it's one of the heaviest things I've heard.
I use the exact same terminology of world-ending heavy. The thing is, when you put this on, the production of it is quite. I want to say initially flat, but it or like low. So you really have to kind of crank it and give it like attention. But it's so heavy. There's a low end rumble that kind of goes throughout it, and
Mm.
I don't understand how they've kind of quite managed to capture that because it's so crazy.
I feel like the production it's very old school. It sounds like, especially the
Yeah,
drums. It's almost like they've tried to capture the production of what it would have sounded like in their early days as a band.
the '90s.
Yeah, the 90s.
Well, I think
Very hot.
their producer is also a life or a long term friend. So maybe he was there from
From the beginning.
early, yeah, and kind of knows their idea, what they're about. There's a lot of death and grief and despair all over this record. Like a lot of I mean, the song titles itself. You've got funeral, grief, into the crematory, when life ends, death above all, till death, very
Yeah,
death heavy.
yeah,
um
and with
ap-
the backstory, you can kind of see why, right?
well, yes, exactly. And the producer's daughter died apparently
Oh fucking
during
hell!
the making of this record.
Oh
So
Jesus!
it's just, you can't escape it, and you can't escape it sonically as well. It's almost
No,
like it's almost like mirror image, isn't it, of kind of their reality with this sound.
Well, when you look at the lineup as well, obviously with what happened previously to them, they of the original guys, it's only actually the vocalist and the drummer.
Really,
Yeah,
I see. I wonder if they carried over any of the riffs from the old EPs or anything
I
like
don't
that.
know, man. You'd assume also maybe the people in it were like fans of the band and was like, able to capture
Yeah,
what was they were originally about.
yeah. I think touching on the kind of sound on this, it doesn't break new ground, does it? It's Death Doom, but done so. It's the delivery of it that makes this stand out. I feel.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, I feel like if when I put this on and I read the kind of backstory about the producer and like I allowed myself to sort of get into that headspace of like grief and doom. It was almost like it was transcendental in a way. It kind of required so much. It required my attention, if that makes sense. If I let it go into the background, I had to quickly like
yeah.
refocus and go back to it, and then I feel like I got the most out of it that way. It was really, I don't know, man. It was an interesting listen because it wasn't. There was something about it that just kind of took me to another place.
What you said earlier as well about the whole kind of volume of it, I felt like if you had this on headphones and you had it up fairly loud, so that that point when you listen to something and you start really feeling the heaviness of
Yeah,
it. When you get
yeah,
to that, when you're at that level of volume on this, like it is so crushing.
yeah,
And actually knowing the backstory of the band and stuff, like that adds another weight to the kind of
yeah,
crushingness of it because the album as well, as heavy as it is, there's a lot of moments of kind of melody in some of the melodic parts and some of the guitar lines that would be going underneath it that's got that kind of sorrowful
yeah.
melody kind of thing to it which really um works with the kind of the subject matter and the vibe of the band.
Track 3 in particular, "Funeral," there was a lot of melody found in that lead line.
Yeah,
There was also like a really subtle like they don't rely on synths, this band, or anything like that.
no,
They create the atmosphere themselves, but there are elements. There was a church bell that was sort of like going on in the
yeah,
background of that song, which kind of added into that funeral imagery. I mean, that song was a little bit almost, I don't want to say interlude. It didn't have any vocals. It was quite standalone in that sense, but it was it was placed really well just after the first two songs, just to give it that injection of melody and sorrowful that sort of went straight into track 4 with grief, which was a lot more like an oppressive death doom song.
yeah. Sorry, wait, were you expecting me to join in just then?
Well, potentially, yeah. It's a
No,
conversation.
I thought you were just adjusting yourself and carrying, and was going to carry on talking.
Right.
Yeah, I thought your shimmying had interrupted your thing, and I didn't want to rudely interrupt. Um, do you know what a song my standout song on this was
Track 5.
just for the riff, but that Death Above All, that sort of
Oh,
old school
okay.
Sabbathy.
Sabbath, yeah.
Oh, it was great, man. There wasn't because there was that harmony on it as well, and there wasn't
Yeah.
much like that on the album. So I felt that riff in general really stood out.
Yeah, it was a perfect place to put it. It was just right near the end, wasn't it? And
Yeah,
just as you'd had a lot more, like, just to backtrack a second, track 5 was probably my standout song, Into the Crematory.
that was my other one.
Yeah, there was really great, really, there was like cool organ lead lines on that. Then it
Yeah,
went into When Life Ends, which was a lot more, again, a kind of your Death Doom power. Then it went into that Death Above All, which had that, yeah, like you said, that Sabbath riff, and it started with just single note, didn't it? But then when the harmony came in, it just added that extra
yeah, it
layer
was
of
so cool,
atmosphere,
man.
man.
Just that
Really cool.
creeping sort of evil. Yeah, that was great.
And then when it all kicked in together, like when everything just all pumped in, it was so heavy.
Yeah,
Like it kind of like wows you every time
yeah,
how heavy it is when it comes in. And then yeah, last track till death. the song is like drenched in atmosphere. There's like reverberated lead lines and then kind of like low end synths kind of going underneath it. I thought this was a really good album ender.
Yeah.
Good
The
good
album was kind
conversation there,
no,
Mike.
no, no, but I was gonna say the album was kind of full of album enders as well, though. Like, you know,
Yeah, true,
so many of
true.
them with the atmosphere and vibe of it all. You could end an album because it was so much of it was so crushing. You know.
Yeah. I'm going to go out and guess here, Mike. What we do on this podcast is we like to we pick an album to review, and then we don't talk about it off
Yeah.
air. We just sort of come straight in here so we can talk about it. Mike, the question: did you like this album? I'm going to guess you did.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the answer to that. I did no, I did. I thought it was awesome. Honestly, it's of a lot of the stuff we've done since doing this show, I'd say this is probably the heaviest album we've done. Like
Yeah.
it's quite overwhelming almost how heavy it is.
In some moments, it reminded me of Primitive Man in the heaviness, but it wasn't as like it was sonically different to Primitive Man. Primitive Man, I feel like they kind of just push everything up to the front, and
Yeah.
it's just like real low end. With this, there was a kind of underlaying of hell, almost like it was just so low end. I was also thinking, what track can they tune to? It's got to be A, doesn't it?
Something
It
like that. And I just also think when you're comparing this to bands like Primitive Man, this feels a little bit more organic in the way it gets
yes.
there.
Yeah, it's not like a modern heavy, is it? It's not like using
No.
production methods to push that. I feel like they sonically just have this in their locker and absolutely nail it.
You've got that sort of feeling like you're in a room with them and they're playing, they're
Yeah,
rehearsing and you're there.
love the vocals as well. We haven't actually touched on that.
Oh, brutal.
They were
They're
so
so
visceral.
full. Yeah.
Yeah, so full. They almost reminded me of like a zombie.
Mm,
They were quite gurgly, but they were very
yeah.
low as well. They were.
Yeah.
I mean, just yeah. I was really impressed with this album. Like really
Yeah,
impressed.
man. Yeah, really impressive. It's an album I'll go back to for sure. I think if I'm in the mood to feel like that listening to an album, then
Yeah.
I'll do. I might wait till the sort of autumn though.
Not well, yeah. It's not necessarily a summer record. However, the weather is a bit miserable this week, so it's sort of hasn't been too out of place. Any more to say on this, Mike, or wrap it up?
Wrap it up, John. I'm happy.
Wrap it
I'm
up.
happy. I'm happy with how much we've praised it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, listen. Sometimes
Oh,
the
there's a fucking
wait,
fly in here as well.
the wait is worth it, isn't it, Mike? 35 years. It's
Yeah, I'm pleased they did it. Well, the thing is, it's one of those I'd have never heard of them if they hadn't done this.
no. That's a really good point. Really good point. And I wonder if they're going to play live, or is that it? Are they done?
No,
Are they
that's it.
fully
They're
finished?
done. I
They're
think they
done.
released the album. I don't know if they did anything live, around this thing, but it's they've split up.
What a story. What a
Yeah.
story. Yeah. Listen. Check this
Can
one
you
out
imagine
if you
the
like
label
Death Doom.
releasing it and going, right, we're going to put it out, and then we're going to
Yeah. Yeah.
go, we're going to tour, we're going to,
Promotional tour.
yeah, big promotion to that. No, we're already done.
No, we're done. We're
Oh,
done.
could
Yeah.
have told me that before we signed the contract.
Yeah, I've just spent 20 grand releasing this.
You better do some
uh,
interviews.
yeah, yeah, no. Right, yeah. Listen, check this one out. Seriously, if you like Death Doom, it's a. I was going to say a fun listen. It's not a fun listen, but it's definitely worth
It's an
your
emotional
time.
experience, I think.
It is an emotional, and like if you really give it time, it really does like kind of just transcend, like almost transcend realms in a way. It kind of does take you somewhere a bit different. But yeah, if you like what you heard today, give us a like and a subscribe. We put out videos every Wednesday and Friday. Had to think about that. And yeah, we will catch you then.